Greetings and welcome to a brand new video series on forecasting techniques. Forecasting techniques is part of is a type of predictive analytics. And in this particular video series, we will introduce some common methods and approaches to forecasting, including both qualitative and quantitative techniques. Managers require good forecast for future events to make good decisions. This could be, for example, sales forecast. We need sales forecast to plan production and workforce capacity. And we can have forecasts of trends in demographics, consumer behaviors, and technological innovation for long-term strategic planning of the organization. Business analysts may choose from a wide range of forecasting techniques to support decision making. Selecting the appropriate method depends on the characteristics of the forecasting problem, such as the time horizon of the variables being forecast, as well as available information with which we want to base our forecast on. There are three major categories of forecasting approaches. They are 1. Qualitative and judgmental techniques, 2. Statistical time series models, and 3. Explanatory or causal models. We will look at each one of these in details. So we start off looking at the first one, which is qualitative and judgmental forecasting. Qualitative and judgmental forecasting rely on experience and intuition. They are necessary when historical data are not available or when the decision makers need to forecast far into the future. For example, let's say we want to forecast when the next generation of microprocessor will be available and what capabilities it might have. Then this really depends on the opinions and expertise of different individuals who are in the microprocessor technology field. So they will probably need to use their experience and their intuition to actually come up with a feasible or plausible forecast. So judgmental techniques range from simple methods such as the manager's opinion or a group-based opinion to more structured approaches such as historical analogy and the Delphi method. So we look at the first one, which is historical analogy. Historical analogy is a forecast obtained through a comparative analysis with previous situations. For example, if a new product is to be introduced, we can look at and we want to look at the response of the consumers to marketing campaign. So we can actually look at what are similar campaigns that has previously been launched for a similar product, and we can use that as a basis to predict how well new marketing campaign might be. Of course, temporal changes or other unique factors might not be fully considered. In such an approach, in historical analogy approach. However, we can still gain a great insight through analysis of past experience. Let's look at an example. We want to look at an example of using historical analogy in predicting the price of oil. Early 1988, the oil price was about $22 a barrel. Mid 1988, oil price dropped to $11 a barrel because there was oversupply, high production in non-OPEC region, as well as lower than normal demand. So with this kind of experience, historical experience, so in the past, OPEC would raise the price of oil. Historical analogy would forecast a higher price. However, Okay, in this case, the price of oil continued to drop even though OPEC has agreed to cut the production. So historical analogies cannot always account for current realities. We use it as a forecast, but still you have to recognize, okay, whether new or different circumstances has actually occurred. Okay, so next we're going to look at another judgmental method, which is the Delphi method. In the Delphi method, okay, what it does is it uses a panel of experts to respond to a sequence of questionnaires. Okay, and then once they have responded, okay, it will be anonymous. Okay, we will share the anonymous responses back to this panel of experts. And from there, we allow for healthy discussions based on these responses. Okay, then after that, okay, after each round, we allow the experts to revise their estimates. Okay, and we repeat this process, okay, a couple of times in order to reach a convergence of opinion on the forecasted variable. Okay, what this does is then it promotes unbiased exchanges of ideas and discussion. And usually, okay, this is seen as one of the better approaches to forecast long-range trends and impact. Indicators and indexes generally play an important role in developing judgmental forecasts. Okay, indicators are measures that are believed to influence the behavior of a variable that we want to forecast. They are often combined quantitatively into an index, which is a single measure that weights multiple indicators together, thus providing a measure of overall expectation. Okay, so here, for example, financial analysts use the Dow Jones Industrial Average as an index of general stock market performance. Indexes do not provide a complete forecast. Okay, however, okay, what it does is it gives us a better picture of direction of change. Okay, therefore, it plays an important role in judgmental forecasting. Okay, an example of that is the economic indicators. Okay, GDP, gross domestic product, okay, measures the value of all goods and services produced. Okay, and GDP will rise and falls in a cyclic fashion. So forecasting of GDP is often done using leading indicators, okay, series that change before the GDP changes, and lagging indicators, series that follow changes in the GDP indicators. So for example, leading indicators are such as formation of business enterprises, percent change in the money supply. Okay, so if there are a lot of businesses that are being formed, or there's a lot of changes in the supply of currency, okay, they could then provide indicators in advance of you forecasting what the GDP is going to be. Lagging indicators is series that follow changes in the GDP. So for example, okay, such as business investment expenditures, prime rate inventories on hand. Okay, so how much inventory that you're actually going to, how do you say, to hold, okay, will also depends on what is the prediction or the indicators of GDP is going to be. Is the GDP going to be better, or is it going to be worse? So then obviously you will move your business, okay, according to these indicators.